Here. So there's some pretty insane things that are going to be coming out Monday. Biden is coming out with this new tax plan, and I think it's going to have a massive impact on the economy. I think we're going to see so much change come to this market all at one time. We're seeing right now rising interest rates from 2.875% 6 months ago to over 5%. You have to have, excuse me, you have to have a 720 above to get a 4.95% interest rate. Most people don't have that. We're seeing rates in the mid fives, depending on your credit score right now. And they're now talking about more and more and more rate hikes. And they're looking to raise as much capital right now to try to offset some of the damage, it seems. However, some of this coming, I think, is going to really rock the market. We're leaving a period of euphoria in stocks and crypto and real estate where people felt untouchable. They're about to be touched, it seems. Now, I'm going to share with you and walk you through this. But before I do, I got cut off my last live stream. There was a technical issue. But I'm having a sale on my YouTube Success Academy, my cash flow rental blueprint, if you're thinking about investing in real estate when the market turns, and also personalized coaching at thisisjohnwilliams.shop.com, between 50 and 75% off. And this is going to be coming to an end tomorrow. It's the first time I've had a sale in 6 months. It's going to be the last time in 2022. I have a new business I'm launching in 6 weeks. I won't have time. So 1 second. I'm going to remove that and screen share this. And now we are in business. Here we go. So White House to target billionaires with a new minimum tax in 2023, dubbed the billionaire minimum tax, says the White House will target billionaires with a new minimum tax when President Biden unveils his 2023 budget, according to a document from his administration obtained, right? Dubbed the billionaires minimum income tax, the Biden administration proposal, as highlighted in the document, aims to ensure that the very wealthiest Americans pay a tax rate of at least 20% of their full income. Now, what this means, full income, what a lot of people do, obviously, is that they invest in the infrastructure, in their employees, their businesses. They build out a system, a financial ecosystem in a way, to where they can offset taxes, right? Well, he is saying 20% of essentially of gross income, including unrealized depreciation. Now people would say, okay, well, this is the billionaires. Well, actually, the number is 100 million. That is the number, 100 million, right? But who hires? Who hires the everyday American? For the most part, it's corporations, it's businesses, it's large companies, it's wealthy people. Now, if you're going to increase taxes and really put the strain on them, where's this going to go? It's going to go right to the bottom line. It's not going to affect the billionaires, in my opinion. It's not going to affect the millionaires. But look at this plan here, because they're saying that they want unrealized gains. So what this would look like is the tax on value of billionaire stocks, real estate, art, and other assets could help Democrats accomplish goals of raising taxes on the wealthy and funding social safety net and climate programs. The measure doesn't have a formal cost yet. This is 6 months ago. So this is what they were intending to do then. This article was October. So about 8 months ago, right? This was what they were talking about then. But this was nonetheless unrealized capital gains. This is what they were trying to go for, unrealized gains. And so what is going to be fascinating here is they're going to target people with a net worth of $100 million. And with this net worth, they are going to basically send out appraisers and start issuing these tax bills to wealthy people, right? And so what are they going to do? What is this going to look like? What is this going to look like? I believe what could very well happen here is that we're going to start to see so many wealthy people start hiding a ton of money, whether maybe be offshore, getting second passports, relocating their businesses, there's no way you're going to get a tax of if someone's, let's say they're worth $100 million, you're going to get them for 200 or 200. If they're worth $1 billion, you're going to get them for 200 mil. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, in my opinion, at least not in mass scale. But I could be completely wrong. This minimum tax would make sure the wealthiest Americans no longer pay a tax rate lower than teachers and firefighters. Wealthy households who already pay 20% of their full income will not pay an additional tax under the proposal. However, the document noted that if a tax-free unrealized income allows a wealthy household to pay less than 20% of their full income, they will owe a top-up payment to meet a 20% minimum. The document also said tax will eliminate the ability for an unrealized income of ultra-high net worth households to go untaxed for decades or generations. Additionally, the document claimed the minimum income tax will make America's tax code fairer and reduce the deficit by about $360 billion. Think about how massive that is. $360 billion over the next decade. In effect, the billionaire minimum income tax payments are a prepayment of tax obligations these households will owe when they later realize the gain. The document said this approach means that the wealthiest Americans pay taxes as they go, just like everyone else, and eliminates the inefficient sheltering of income for decades or generations. This is expected to be released Monday. It's a very unfortunate situation we're seeing here. And I'm not, some people will say, they'll take one side or the other. But we look at this, and in America, we have that ability of applying ambition, intelligence, and focus to building a business. And that business should allow us to invest in real estate and make smart and strategic investments. And obviously you pay tax, right? I'm not saying not to, but what I am saying is when you have a curveball like this being sent out from left field, there's going to be so many wealthy people who simply won't agree with this, right? They simply won't agree with this. And what are they going to do? They are likely going to find a way around it, right? These people, they're not going to H&R Block for an accountant. They have a team of attorneys and teams of accountants to build out a shield around them and their assets, right? And so what's going to happen? They're going to start offsetting income and they're going to start doing what they have to do. But this is not going to impact them, in my opinion. I think if anything, this is going to impact, the 99%. That's the unfortunate thing here. But this is the proposal that's coming out. They want to raise $360 billion over the next decade. And this situation is, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And when we look at this, I'm looking at this coupled with the other, situations that are happening right now. We have rising gas prices, inflation's out of control. We have stock market that's looking very, very shaky. Real estate market that's getting tested right now with raised, interest rates going from 2.875% 6 months ago to, 5, depending on if you have a perfect credit score, like 800, 720, in that range, you're going to probably get a 4.95% interest rate, right? It's a massive jump from 2.875. But if you have lower, like 680 or in that range, you might pay 5.25, 5.5%. And they have many, many more interest rate hikes to come. So I'm looking at this strategically and asking myself, how can things remain the same if everything costs so much more and no one's making any less, right? Like the core fundamentals to me suggest that we're going to be stepping into a economic problem, a real economic problem. And then when we're really pumping the brakes on the wealthy, to me, what that means is that the wealthy are going to be incentivized almost to instill more problems, right? Because these wealthy people probably control a large block of the workforce. And what are they going to do, right? Do you think they're going to just simply sit idle and just write fat checks left and right? I don't think so. I think that's going to be very, very interesting to see kind of how all this plays out. But you look at how much money that they're printing right now. They just printed a $1.5 trillion, right? They just printed $1.5 trillion, and this was, I don't know, a week and a half ago, right? $1.5 trillion. They're hoping to get 360 billion. So they went and dropped 1.5 trillion, and they're looking to do this to raise, 20% of that, right? So you look at this. I don't think this is actually the real goal here. At least to me, it doesn't make that much sense anyway. Like, if anything, if I were, and I'm not, but if I were running things, my sheer intention would be, how can I build out more output? How can I put people to work? How can I incentivize people to grow wealth? How can I incentivize people to invest? How can I incentivize movement of money, right? If you incentivize movement of money and you incentivize work, then what ultimately happens is you actually have an economy that's producing. But when you're incentivizing, penalizing people for producing work, I think ultimately you're going to have a problem, right? And look at, California is a good example of that. I think we're going to start to see some big problems happening in places like California and New York and other places. In New York, they're now trying to pass a bill called the Evict My Landlord bill, where if the landlord increases rent by 3%, that you're unable to evict the tenant, right? So meanwhile, the landlord's costs are probably rising at 20, 30%, plus they have over 200,000 tenants that are behind on rent. So of course, landlords that have units that are not producing income, they're going to increase rent on the other units to offset the losses from the other ones, right? So yeah, I'm gonna take a quick look here at these comments. Seems like everybody is kind of blown away. I got hundreds. It looks like hundreds of comments here. So more homeless in America. Yeah. Coaching for real estate. Yes, I have my cash flow rental blueprint mentorship program is on sale right now, 75% off. This is johnwilliams.shop.com. But I personally am thinking that the time to invest in real estate is going to be in 6 months, 3 months, 6 months. As we start to see more pain in the market. Right now, we're still seeing this euphoria with fix and flips and house hacking, and everyone wants to invest in real estate. Like the old saying, if you hop into a taxi cab and the taxi driver is giving you stock advice, is probably the time to sell the stock, right? Same thing right now, I think, applies to the real estate market. I think we're going to see some big changes in the real estate market. And with those changes, going to be opportunities for smart investors. Am I related to Josh Flagg? No. We were in the same office for a while, but no. What's up, Mr. Williams? A true original jet who delivers his own. Yep, that's right. I love it. Yep. But that's what I think is going to happen. Is I think we're going to start to see another thing that we've also realized here too over the last 2 years is this whole work from home thing plays out so well for the wealthy and for the rich and for the billionaires. And the reason why is because this actually helps them for a couple of reasons. One is that this work from home situation is they're going to have some employees, of course, that are going to come to the office, right? But they're going to be able to outsource a lot more work. And if they're going to outsource work and they have options to do so from, countries that focus on STEM, that's going to be India. It's going to be Asia, and it's going to be other countries where they might be able to hire workers for less money and also offset some of that income, right? And so I think what's going to happen here is I think that as this kind of unfolds, there's going to be a lot of very wealthy people that are going to maybe open an office in, another country, potentially in Mexico or in South America or another country. And they're like, we're already seeing right now. If you look at this, I've done a video about this. I talked about this, about what's happening right now in Colombia is you're having companies from Shopify and other companies leaving the Bay Area and going South America, hiring cheap talent. Rather than paying $350,000 for an engineer, they're paying $81,000 for the same engineer, right? So they're able to hire top talent, and that's what I think is going to happen here. This bill, they're intending to raise this $360 billion. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get smart and they're going to realize, like, hey, maybe it's not best to hire here. Maybe it's best to maybe set up shop somewhere else and start offshoring more and more and more. And then I'm gonna reduce my exposure here. I mean, if I was worth $1 billion, if I promise you, I wouldn't want to pay 200 mil to, if I was making $1 billion a year or whatever it was, I wouldn't pay 200 mil, especially into how they're spending it right now. That's for sure. I'd probably look at other options. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. He should look at himself. Let's see here. That's why the elites are buying up residential properties. Yeah, well, for them, it's a little bit different. 10,000 point drop in the stock market, and one day crypto back to 5,000. I'm so tired of we don't like taxes in Florida. If you want an education, go somewhere else. This is pretty crazy though, watching how fast all this stuff is unfolding. Because I was calling a lot of the madness like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, talking about a lot of the problems that are going to be coming today. And so many people are like, oh, that's fear monger. But then slowly but surely, like every month, things just got progressively harder. And then people now are just people that were, questioning things now are like, okay, maybe the economy is going to do this, or maybe things are going to be like this, right? So what can we do? That's the big question. Like, what can we do? What smart strategies can we implement today? And to me, what I think a mistake is pretending like things are going to go back and instead just realize that things likely are just going to get harder and harder and harder progressively, right? And so what do you do in that situation? Obviously, more income streams, the better. Building on a situation to where you're not renting, because rents are likely going to continue to rise, especially rental rates are going to continue to rise, especially as corporations continue getting bigger and bigger. A great example of that is look at advertising costs on Facebook in 2015 versus today, right? Same thing is going to happen across rents. So I believe we're going to start to see some problems there. So if you realize that things are going to get more and more expensive, the only plan is multiple income streams, fixing your housing cost, and building out an ecosystem to where if things continue to go out of control price-wise, you're able to, buffer some of that. That's really the best plan. The worst plan is staying in one job with a 3.5% pay increase, realizing that prices across a lot of industries increase 20 to 40%. And so that means that you would hypothetically be forced to take a loss at maybe 20 or 30% of income just because your purchasing power is getting killed. And then to do that again, and then again, and before you know it, you're living on 30%. You have the purchasing power of 30% of what you did just a few years before, right? That's not a long-lasting viable solution. So looking here at what options that there are, I think starting a YouTube channel is a great option. I think starting an online business is a great option. I think investing in real estate when you understand what value looks like is a good option. But understanding landlord-tenant law and all these changes in the economy, all of these things that are happening inside, like almost overnight, you really got to keep your eye on top of it all, because if you miss one thing, it could equal big losses. So I do think big changes are coming. Very, 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 very big changes are coming, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date on all of it. Everything that I learn, I'm going to keep you guys up to date. If you want to grow a YouTube channel, you want to start from 0 subscribers, and you need help, go to this as John Williams / I'm going to leave the link here, and then so you guys see it. Go to the website, this is John Williams /shop.com. If you want to learn about investing in real estate, or if you want personalized mentorship from me, this is John Williams /shop.com. Everything's 50 to 75% off right now. But I do believe that, like I said before, 2019 or 2020 is hard. 2021 is just going to progressively kind of move in that direction. You definitely want to have multiple income streams and a really good plan, a really good strategy. Because the last thing that you'd want is to kind of fall victim, like financially, just don't have any alternatives, right? And it's going to be interesting to kind of watch the flow of capital here with this. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think that you're going to get. I think we have 2,400 billionaires in America, right? That number was before 2020, so maybe today, maybe even more, because billionaires essentially like doubled their net worth, many of them, right? So maybe you have 2,800, maybe you have 3,000 billionaires. I doubt they're all going to just pitch up and just pay. I'd be surprised. But this isn't just billionaires. It's $100 million net worth. Households worth 100 million, right? More than 100 million. So 100 million to $1, right? So they might be going after maybe 10, 15,000 households, right? I'd be surprised to see this money turn up in great scale. I think that we're going to see some money leaving America. I think we're going to see a lot of people looking at other alternatives. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys on the next live stream.